You know what really grinds my gears? Successful animated shows that have everything going for them. Like, the show is literal gold, but the people in charge are so stupid, right? They make stupid changes like removing the charm from the design, they accept subpar voice acting, and they take away all sense of the imagination. Like, very little is left to interpretation these days, and it's all for no good reason. And typically you think they do it to save money or to cost cut, but I've seen shows go the other way, where they end up over polishing their art. Like, no one's watched the first couple of seasons of Rick and Morty or Family Guy and went, oh, the animation's so crappy and sloppy. If they don't fix this, I'm not going to watch it anymore. Fucking no one. And you know, of all things, I got this idea for this video back when I went to KFC a few weeks back, and I bought the family burger box, which is like a bunch of burgers and a bunch of sides. So the person that's packing my meal packs the chips first, or the fries. We call them chips in Australia. And also, there's this thing called chicken salt. Fucking goated. I have no idea why America doesn't have this yet. So anyways, the person packs the chips and puts it in the bag, and then they realize, oh yeah, I gotta wait for the burgers, right? And because they got nothing else to do, they go and serve a couple more they go back to the register and they serve a few more customers. So, and for some reason it took a long time. So about 5 minutes later, whilst they'll put in the order for the second customer, the burger person slid the burgers down the chute so they were ready. Right? And because now the person is serving the second customer, so now the burgers and the chips are now sitting idle, getting cold for absolutely no reason. Like, it just boggles the mind. If you're going to do this, at least put the packed chip boxes back in the chip hopper so they stay hot. But no, of course not. They put it in the bag. And also, one thing, they didn't even bother to close the bag. Fucking stupid teenagers. You know, I used to work at this exact KFC. I would never do that. Like, you know how guilty I would feel? And you know another thing, back years ago when I used to work, you know what else would make me feel really guilty? Whenever a customer would order a 6 or 10 piece nugget pack, right? The 6 nuggets were $5.95 and the 10 nuggets were $8.95. And this was 9 years ago, mind you. So the prices have now gone up a couple of bucks. That is $1 per nugget. Isn't that just ridiculous, right? And mind you, when I was 15, I was making $7.91 an hour. And this is Australian $7.91, not US $7.91, right? So in reality, I was getting closer to about $5 US. So yeah, you bet your ass if a customer ordered a 6 nugget pack, I'd put 7 in that bag. Or 10 nuggets, I'd put 11, right? Or sometimes even 12, because it doesn't feel right charging that much. But you know how many customers order it and continue ordering it? It's like one of the most common orders that we got was like the nugget packs, like especially nuggets in a meal deal, right? Which barely gave you any extra value, right? You're paying an extra $3 and you're getting a small chips and drink. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, anyways, that was a tangent and a half. I'm just so passionate about this stuff. I don't know why. Anyway, so yeah, as I was waiting for my food, I was doom scrolling on TikTok and I saw a Rick and Morty vid. Like, do you know when people clip parts of a show and then they split that scene into like 5 parts? And then sometimes the person uploading onto TikTok doesn't even put those parts in fucking order. Or sometimes they don't even include the end bits, you know? It gets you TikTok blue balls. And I'm looking at you, the people who clip Pawn Stars, the TV show. That is the worst fucking example of TikTok blue balls that you can get anywhere on the platform, right? You have bloody Rick, you know, negotiating a deal, right, with the customer, and then they go back and forth in price, and then they cut it right there, and it doesn't even end. You don't even know, like, what the final price was settled on, you know? You don't even get the full story. And then you end up having to go onto YouTube to search for that exact scene, just so you can get the closure of what actually happens. Anyway, so yeah, and you know what, funny enough, you know how many times this happens to me? Like, you get burnt so many times, but you still end up doing it. You still end up watching the content. Like, sometimes you just can't help yourself, right? Anyway, so what I was watching a clip from season 1 of Rick and Morty. And for once, the uploader actually did a good job. They put the entire part of the scene, and then if you go onto their profile and then you look at the next thing, it's the next part. And it doesn't give you blue balls or nothing like that. So that concluded, and that was great. And then I look at another post from the same user, and they've clipped apart from the latest season. I think it must have been season 7, because this was a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't feel the same. Rick and Morty doesn't feel the same. And like, it wasn't my first time seeing the new part. Like I watch Rick and Morty. I've already seen the entirety of season 7. But for some reason I didn't document. Like I knew the show had this issue, but I never documented it. Rick and Morty. Ah, geez. That show, like that show is the epitome of being a shell of your former self. And I've got examples here. Let's compare together. Let's just watch the way the show flows.
Last night, maybe my dreams were just too loud or
Or
something.
maybe you were out all night again with Grandpa Rick.
What?
Dad?
What, so everyone's supposed to sleep every single night now? You realize that nighttime makes up half of all time?
Damn it!
Jerry!
Beth!
Oh my god, my parents are so loud I want to die.
There is no God, Summer. Gotta rip that Band-Aid off now. You'll thank me later.
Okay, with all due respect, Rick, what am I talking about? What respect is...
All right, let's compare it with season 8.
Whoa. We're still doing the punch card system?
Never stopped. Bam! Freedom and weep. Fully punch cards, each entitling me to an adventure of my choosing. I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I do, you little gremlin. And I definitely did not stamp all these.
You never remember to stamp the cards. You're always drunk.
I didn't know we were still doing this. This stinks to high heaven, Morty. I'm not accepting these.
Just look at the way Rick's face deforms and how it moves and just the expression that it has. You know, it looks like in season 7 they already have all the expressions made and they're just reusing it. But here it just feels fluid. It feels like this is a uniquely drawn thing. It feels uniquely drawn. I don't know if there's another way to better describe it. What do you guys reckon? 38% subscribers and 61.9% not subscribed. Like, in my opinion, it's night and day. Like the earlier seasons just look and feel fluid and lively. And this one hurts because I loved the way Rick used to be. He was really unpredictable, chaotic, and he was a drunk alcoholic who, even when intoxicated, was very intelligent and clever. But now he just feels predictable and stale. And you really get that sense of feeling that the show is a shell of its former self, right? Because the narratives and the overall concept of each episode, even in the later seasons, like, they're actually still decent. You know, there's some good in it, right? But the character execution, it's not there for me anymore. Look, and Morty's not so bad in comparison, but yeah, he's not what he used to be either. And another thing I really liked about the earlier seasons is it lets your mind fill in the blanks, and it leaves much to the imagination. Like, this is something I wish more media did. You know, I can't tell you how many horror movies I've watched on Netflix or Prime that it just felt the action, the stuff happening just felt so forced, right? And it's so typical. The bad guy has a knife, and they actually show the stabbing or killing in detail. Like, there's literally no need, right? You can accomplish the same or even a better effect without showing and just inferring it. And that's why the stabbing in the shower scene in Psycho was so well loved. You know, they're not showing the fucking gore, you know, it's not obvious that they're showing the gore, right? You know, they've got scenes of blood running into the drain. They've got scenes of shadows, you know, it's amazing. And this isn't to say I'm a hater of Rick and Morty and then I'm saying Rick and Morty is super bad now. Like I was saying before, story-wise, some of the new season material hits the right notes, you know, but I don't know. I noticed the difference straight away for me that the animation in the later seasons just feels boring and stale. Like, there's no excuse for that. Is it a cost-cutting play? Is it over-polishing? It's kind of hard to tell what it is. In all honesty, I think it's just they've made all their expressions already and they're just a matter of, you know, drag and dropping whatever expression they want. And they don't have enough variations. But I don't know. What do you guys think? And I know a lot of people like to blame technology too, because technology kind of allows us to cut corners. But just because technology can be used in that way, it doesn't mean it should. You know, there's leadership who's making the choice to do that, right? They're just choosing wrong. And in time, I think we're already seeing the show in a decline. I think a lot of people are feeling that. But I think, you know, it's going to kill the show. And another thing about the show, it's not just the animation. The new voice actors for Rick and Morty, it's not the same, man. It doesn't feel good. This is probably for sure another reason why I've even made this video. Why I feel this way. the best way I can compare it, it's like imagine taking your pet or a sibling, right? You keep their body, but you swap out their brain for a different brain. You know, you're still going to see them and you're still going to love them, right? Because it's them in the physical sense, but it's not them anymore, right? It's not going to feel. It's not going to be what it used to be. It's not going to feel what it used to feel. And after they kicked out the show's original creator and main voice actor, I think his name was Justin Roiland, for reasons I won't go into, sexual abuse, they should have just ended the show, man. Like, simple as that. Like, you know, I understand them going for season 7 without him, just trialing it out, you know, because I guess they don't want to kill the cow. But, you know, seeing how that performed, like, I honestly think they should have just stopped it there. You know, they had a good run. I mean, you know, they kicked him out. He was, in my opinion, he was the show in a lot of ways. He was the show, and he's gone now. And it's sad. Because, yeah, I was, like, recently in a previous video, I was talking about how video game dialogue feels stale. This is happening in a lot of TV shows too, even real life TV shows where they go out in person and they film stuff. Would you guys like me to talk about those too? Write in the comments if you know any shows that kind of give you that impression. And bonus points if they're sort of like Rick and Morty, where they're still sort of okay, but they just don't hit the same vibe anymore. And P.S. about the KFC story, this is nothing compared to how shit Hungry Jack's is. Hungry Jack's is Burger King for everyone else in the world. They couldn't get the name Burger King in Australia for some stupid reason. But yeah, I haven't had a good experience with that chain in years. It's been years. The food has just been atrocious. It's I don't know, man. Maybe I've just been getting super unlucky, but I've gotten unlucky like 5 times. So I don't know how many more chances I have to give it, you know. But yeah, anyways, all right. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Got something to expose? Call the Spillato Bros.